On trends today, pro-government supporters stage counter-protest, reject political move to free Nnamdi Kanu. Presidency calls for sanction of Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer over role in protests. And Davido inspires graduates at Clifford University's 6th convocation as Cubana chief priest pledges scholarship for 50 students. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Trends with LJ, where we analyze major stories shaping leadership, justice, and economic growth across Nigeria and Africa. Now, don't forget you can also be a part of the conversation by following us across all social media platforms.
Nigeria is at a turning point. Young people are rising, demanding change. If you believe in justice, strong leadership, and real reform, then it's time to take a stand.
At LJE Nigeria, we're not just observers, we're builders. We're tackling leadership deficits, advocating for justice reforms, and driving economic advancements for all.
As a volunteer, you won't just watch, you will be a part of it. You will gain access to powerful seminars, conferences, and mentorships from professionals who believe in your potential.
No matter who you are, whether you're a student, an entrepreneur, a professional, or someone who cares, there's a place for you here.
Network with passionate change makers, build skills, and step into leadership.
Join LJE Nigeria today. Let's lead with truth. Let's build with courage. Let's rise for Nigeria. Become an LJE volunteer today and be the change Nigeria needs. Follow all our social media handles for more details.
Welcome back from the break. This is still Trends with LG, and I have in the studio with me once more Dr. John Kamyang, a communications expert. You're welcome.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Thank you for doing this with me. Now to our first story. Hours after Omoyele Sowore led a massive protest demanding Nnamdi Kanu's release, pro-government supporters have also taken to the streets of Abuja in a counter-protest. The convener, National Movement for Good Governance, Mohammed says no one should bow to political pressure or intimidation, insisting that the law must determine Kanu's fate. Let's take a look at the video.
So we say no to this kind of protest. That is why we came out in mass to come out for them to see we the youth that we are not among those that will not cause chaos in the country. So we believe that with this kind of demonstration, we are for peace, and the president will be happy with us. And of course, even the south, east, northwest will be happy. In fact, we want peace to be in Nigeria. That's why we are here. Youth, and we are for the peace.
Okay, so Dr. John, what is your take on this? I mean, this is not the first time we're having a protest and then we're having a counter-protest to attack it.
Yeah, it's not surprising, and it should be expected. And it comes back to what I've always said: our ability to quickly politicize every issue instead of looking at it from established facts and objectivity. There is no doubt. I quite agree with the position or some of the positions of the anti or counter protesters. Okay. The fact that Nnamdi Kanu has questions to answer. I have said it on this platform that we cannot run away from the fact that it has been established that Nnamdi Kanu has been instrumental to certain instabilities that have happened, especially within southeastern Nigeria. Okay. Evidences have been provided, admissible, I must emphasize, admissible evidences have been provided in the court of law. How the court chooses to determine his fate is a totally different kettle of fish. But I also belong to the school of thought that for somebody who was renditioned back to Nigeria in 2017, and this is 2025, and he has, to the best of his ability and the best of the ability of his legal team, been able to profess some answers to some of the accusations that have been brought before him. A court of competent jurisdiction at some point, declared him innocent and free. And yes, again, the Nigerian state decided to press further charges, which legitimately is in the place of the Nigerian state or any group or individual to have done same. So we cannot run away from those facts. As I said, there are facts and there are objective positions, to this matter. But let us not sensationalize it. Let us not politicize it, because this seems to be the trend in Nigeria. Once a group of persons stand up to say, we stand against this, we don't belong this, you will see another group. Now, I won't be surprised if further investigative journalists, investigate further. They'll find out that probably these counter protesters were funded by a group that is not in support of the Free Nnamdi Kanu protest. But the fact still remains. Constitutionally, Nigerians at whatever level have the right to freedom of expression, freedom of association, freedom of movement. So when you put all of these rights together, it is expected. And that is why I had earlier pointed out the fact that I was totally against the approach of the police in dispersing the crowd with tear gas and as reported, live ammunition. Why? Because the police is supposed to be the link between the citizenship and the leadership in terms of keeping civil law and order. So I expect that a police, especially for an IGP in the person of Kayode Egbetokun, that has positioned himself to be a thoroughbred professional and somewhat of an academician when it comes to modern day policing. I would have expected that the approach will be different. The protesters would have been redirected. As I maintain, the court injunction said the protest should not go to high security facilities. And those facilities were clearly mentioned. So if I were the police, what I would do is, in a bid to allow the protesters express their fundamental human rights as given by the Constitution, and I would redirect the protesters on a route that will stop them from falling short of that court order. And I think that would have been more productive, so to say, for modern day policing than what we have seen thus far.
Okay. Thank you.
It's been a bit overbearing. Why do I say so? There are bodies that are to determine if Ejimofor's action contravenes his professional conduct as a lawyer. And we have the NBA, we have the Judicial Council, so I think this is just again trying to trigger some reaction. Ejimofor is Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer, and he could be in that process in different capacities.
Yes,
he could be there to support the call for his client to be set free. Let's not forget, he's a Nigerian. He is first a Nigerian before a lawyer. So there are thin lines, though the lines may be blurred. But if we are to look at this issue objectively, void of partisancy and politics, objectively, there are a number of reasons why Ejimofor would have been part of that protest. Now, why was he arrested? Did he commit a crime? Did he contravene a law? I mean, for a legal luminary, one would expect that he knows his rights for him to be in that protest. Exactly. So, again, the comments by Bayo Denuga, the position of the presidency also, and that's what makes me wonder as a communications expert, that don't they think of what kind of message they are sending when they make this kind of statements? The presidency need not have reacted. There are certain things you don't need to react to. Now that you have reacted, you are now giving credence to the proportion that this current administration is part of those who seriously want Nnamdi Kanu behind bars. And, you begin to give credence to conspiracy theories that naturally shouldn't even come to light. Yeah. So I think Bayo Nanuga should be more concerned about consistently positioning the image of his principal in positive light rather than create room for conspiracy theories, political oppositions, and all other groups. Because I won't be surprised if at some point the Ohane Igbo jumps on this train and decides to ignite a supposed ethnic bias as a result of developments today with regards to the Free Nnamdi Kanu protest. So you must look at the big picture. I know there are going to be several reactions on social media. I already have seen some of those reactions where I've been called all kinds of names. But as a professional communication specialist and expert, I look at things from the communication standpoint. What message are you sending, both knowingly and unknowingly? It is the coded messages that you think people don't see. Those actually are the messages that eventually ignite fires that you can't kindle. So I think it is high time that people in the cabinet of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, sometimes take a step back and ask the fundamental question. Okay, this has happened. If we react, what will be the eventual fallout? If we don't react, what will be the eventual fallout? When you weigh both sides, you will now be able to fashion out a communication strategy that puts you in a position that nobody fingers you in circumstances like this. Nnamdi's Kanu matter remains sensitive, and it has already highlighted a broad disparity in terms of ethnic divide, and that's why the Southeast continues to talk about marginalization.
Exactly.
So we need to be careful. Okay. We need to be careful.
Thank you. And away from protests, Clifford University, Owerri Inter, Abia State, was all glitz and gratitude as it held its 6th convocation on Sunday. Music star Davido stole the spotlight as he announced a new hostel project in memory of his late mother, Dr. Veronica Adeleke. And in a surprise move, Pascal Okechukwu, popularly known as Cubana Chief Priest, pledged to pay school fees for 50 students across all facilities. Dr. John, with this degree of donation, do you think education and entertainment can actually be intertwined?
Yes, they can be. Anybody who's gone through the four walls of the higher institutions of Nigeria will recognize the interconnectivity between education and entertainment. A lot of the notable artists at one time or the other have gone through one or two institutions here in Nigeria. Some of them even started their careers in some of those higher institutions, built their portfolio before they went into fully into the entertainment industry. But again, congratulations to Davido. I think he should recognize that he has become a role model of sorts to different generations of Nigerians. And I appreciate the fact that he made that legendary move of being the one to unveil the hostel in the name of his mother. That's a legacy that I'm sure something that he will remain in his memory for a long time to come. And I celebrate Clifford University for going that way, because what we normally see, it's either one politician, one public office holder, but recognizing Davido's mother's contributions and then bringing Davido himself. That is a major inspiration for students in Clifford University. And I really celebrate Davido for being inspirational to that generation of young Nigerians. And to my friend and brother, the Cubana High Priest, I appreciate the effort to contribute to education. I would suggest that rather than just waiting for a one-off occasion to be philanthropic, maybe as part of building his personal brand and keeping his own legacy, he should invest in a trust fund that pays scholarship for students who meet a certain academic level. And I think that will go a long way to immortalize Cubana Chief Priest and his support for education across Nigeria.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. John. And that's where we wrap up this episode of Trends with LJ. Thank you to our viewers for being a part of the program. And don't forget, you can follow us on all our social media platforms on @LJ Nigeria. My name is Samoyeni Ojeifu.